All bowling balls react differently. Some hook a ton, some don't hook much, some don't hook at all. So how can you figure out what bowling balls you need for your game? Today, we are going to explain our 6-ball category guide and the best way and guide to help you pick what your next bowling ball should be, depending on what kind of bowler you are. Are you just a league bowler? Are you just an open play bowler? Are you just a tournament bowler? Whatever it may be, we are going to help you determine how you can pick your next couple bowling balls to have the most success possible. Bowling is a very interesting game where the equipment affects your score dramatically more than any other sport, because somebody throwing the correct ball for the conditions but not throwing it well will score higher than somebody throwing the incorrect ball for the conditions that is actually throwing it well. So we want to help you pick out what bowling balls are best for your game, your situations, and your conditions. This video is sponsored by bowling.com. They are an online retailer bowling company that has arguably the best prices on the internet for all bowling balls, shoes, bags, and much, much more. If you are in the market for any kind of bowling products, make sure to go check out bowling.com. Black Friday is coming up very, very soon. They have some insane deals coming that aren't publicized yet, but are soon. So make sure to go check them out for that. And then again, huge shout out to them. They are an awesome company. They've been helping me out a lot the last couple of months. So big, big thank you to them. But let's get right into the video. One of the hardest things about bowling balls is they are insanely complicated. If you look at the specs of a bowling ball, you're going to see a ton of mumbo jumbo. You're going to see a bunch of numbers. You're going to see a name of a cover stock that you have no idea what it means. And then a ton of marketing hype that's written on the box, that's written on the website, in your pro shop, whatever it may be. So how do you differentiate all of these bowling balls? What we use on the channel to simplify the entire bowling ball process is the ZVL 6-ball categorical scale. What we do is we get rid of a lot of the garbage with bowling balls. We get rid of a lot of the complexity, and we simplify things down to put a bowling ball into 6 different categories so you can help determine what kind of ball reaction you need. We're going to talk about what those 6 categories are in just a second, but there's a first step we need to address when picking out a bowling ball, and that is, what kind of bowler are you? Knowing both your style and what play of bowling that you do is going to help determine what bowling ball should be next. So, are you somebody who bowls league once per week and only buys 1 to 2 bowling balls per year? Well, that's going to be very different than somebody who's a tournament bowler buying 10 to 15 bowling balls a year and trying to have that latest and greatest so that they are able to compete and make some money on the amateur or potentially professional tour. Next up, we need to know your style of bowler. What kind of bowler are you? Are you speed dominant? Are you rev dominant? Are you balanced? What are you? So let's explain those quick. A speed dominant bowler is someone where your speed outweighs your rev rate. This means that you probably have a harder time getting a ball to hook compared to others who have a hard time getting the ball to not hook. Rev dominant bowlers are the opposite. They are going to be ones who are, their rev rate outmatches their speed. So that means they can get any bowling ball to hook, but they usually have issues getting the ball to hook too much. Their ball is usually hooking way too much. So they need a different kind of bowling ball than all the speed dominant bowlers need. I have a couple guides on my channel with a nice little chart to showcase what kind of bowler you are based on the numbers themselves. But generally on a field test, if it's tough to get a ball to hook for you, you're speed dominant. If it's very easy to get a ball to hook and you need a ball to hook less, you're probably rev dominant. And the final thing is, make sure to know what your budget is. Are you trying to find cheaper bowling balls, or is money not an object to you? If you're that league bowler who only wants 1 to 2 bowling balls and you do not want to spend very much money, we have a really cool series on the channel called Copper Drop, where we go through the best bowling ball deals that are on the internet. So instead of paying $200 for that brand new ball, you might be spending $130 for one that's about 6 months old. This can be much better because bowling balls that are more expensive are not better. A bowling ball that is more expensive means it hooks more. So that doesn't mean you're paying a premium for a better product. You're paying a premium for a different kind of product. That's something to be aware of. So on the Copper Drop series, we help get through a lot of that and try to find the best deal so that you can save a couple of bucks. And after all of that, let's get into our 6-ball categorical scale. These are going to be based on what the bowling ball does when it starts to hook and what it does on a lane. And I will also explain what bowling styles will like these bowling balls best and some examples of all of these bowling balls. So Our first category we are going to talk about is category 1, the strong and smooth bowling ball. A strong and smooth bowling ball is generally going to be best for heavy oil, and it's going to be smooth or slow down lane when it starts to hook. This is generally your asymmetrical solid bowling balls. These are your hook monsters, the most expensive balls on the market. They are going to be best if you're bowling on heavy oil or if you're bowling on harder conditions. These are going to be the balls you see a lot of the PBA pros throw because their patterns generally have a ton of volume on them to start. So you're going to see these bowling balls for those situations. Who is going to like these bowling balls best? Speed dominant bowlers or tournament bowlers. If you're speed dominant, these are going to be the balls that are going to hook on whatever oil you're going to be on. These are going to be the hook monsters, the ones that are going to hook no matter what. And then tournament bowlers, as I mentioned, for harder conditions or for heavier conditions, these bowling balls are generally best. They'll give you that little bit of extra miss room, and that's what you need to do to succeed as a bowler. Some really good examples on the market right now of bowling balls in this category are going to be the Storm Ion Max, the Brunswick Mesmerize, and the Motive Jackal Onyx. Next up, we are going to go to category number 2. That is the strong and sharp category. This is a category of bowling ball that is going to hook early, just like their strong and smooth counterparts, but it's going to be a little bit later, and the ball is going to be a lot quicker when it starts hooking. More angular is another way we call it. Hockey stick motion. There's a lot of different terms for this. These are bowling balls that are going to be best on that transition on those heavy oil conditions. So when your strong and smooth ball is hooking a little too early, you're leaving a lot of corner pins, you're overhooking, that's where the strong and sharp ball is going to come into play. The strong and sharp ball has another different purpose that's really good, and that is house shots. These bowling balls are generally going to get the highest scores on house shots because they have those strong cores and covers to fight through some of the heavy oil, but their cover stock is going to be able to still be angular down lane. These bowling balls are generally asymmetrical pearl balls or shiny asymmetrical hybrid balls. These are going to be a more usable category for people compared to the strong and smooth. Strong and smooth, if you're highly rev dominant, you generally don't need that. Rev dominant bowlers can use the strong and sharp category though. But who will this ball be best for? Again, speed dominant bowlers are still going to love these. Overall, speed dominant bowlers love asymmetrical bowling balls, so that is what's going to be best for them. But this is also usable if you want that fresh oil ball on a house shot. So rev dominant guys, you might really like bowling balls here because they're going to be good on the fresh for you. Some really good examples of bowling balls on the market right now that fit into this category are the 900 Global Viking, the Hammer Black Widow Mania, and the Motive Evoke Hysteria. Category number 3 is arguably the best and most important category on our 6-ball scale, and that is the medium and smooth category. These are generally what you would call your benchmark bowling balls. That's a term that gets thrown around all the time. What does it mean? It means it's the bowling ball that's in the middle of your bag. So it means if you start throwing that bowling ball and man, it's not hooking enough, you ball up, you go to your strong and smooth category. If this is a ball that's hooking way too much, you can ball down. You can go to your medium sharp, your weak smooth, or your weak sharp. Ones we'll talk about in just a minute. This is generally the most important spot in a bag for almost any bowler, especially tournament bowlers. Some of the best balls ever made fall into this category because it is such a usable and versatile category. These bowling balls can be used on a ton of different conditions. While the strong and smooth need a lot of oil, the medium and smooth don't need as much oil, or they can also be used on heavy oil. They can be a transition from your strong and smooth ball if you need something for games 2, 3, 4, or it can be the first ball out of your bag for those medium condition situations or even light oil situations. Some of the best bowling balls on the market here are going to be the Storm Phase 2, the Hammer Hammerhead, and the Motive Primal Ghost. And the Venom Shock also fits here, by the way, one of the best ever. What category is going to like this best? Honestly, all categories are going to like this medium and smooth slot. This is a category in the bag that I think every bowler should have in some way, shape, and form. Moving on, we have category number 4. This is the medium and sharp category. Just like what we talked about in the strong smooth and strong sharp, this is going to be a transition bowling ball. This is generally not going to be something you start your day with unless you're bowling on lower amounts of oil or you're a little bit more rev dominant. These are going to be balls you transition to when that medium smooth benchmark bowling ball is just hooking too much, hooking too early, leaving too many corner pins. That's when you go to a weaker cover stock, a shinier cover stock that's going to be more angular down lane. These bowling balls tend to like angle a little more. You'll need to play deeper on the lane for these medium and sharp bowling balls. Medium smooth, you could probably play a little straighter. Medium sharp, you got to play a little bit deeper for them because they want to hook that little bit more down lane. This category, just like the medium smooth, is generally meant for most people. If you're speed dominant, this might be the weakest ball in your bag. If you're rev dominant, this might be one of the stronger balls in your bag, depending on what you pick. But this is overall going to be a very, very versatile category used for a lot of different conditions and situations. Some of the best examples of bowling balls here are going to be the Storm Phase 2 Pearl. You're going to have the Columbia 300 Piranha Power Core Pearl, or you're going to have the brand new Motive Nebula. Next up is category number 5. This is the weak and smooth category. This is going to be your weakest solid ball in your bag. These are going to be ones that are going to hook later than things like your medium smooth and strong smooth categories, but they're still going to be smooth and slow down lane. That's sometimes a reaction that you need. It's a little more niche. I would argue this is the least used category in the bag, but there are situations where this is a necessity. Generally, low oil situations is where this ball is going to be best. Or if you want to play straighter on a lot of house shots, this is going to be the ball that you probably want to lean towards. This is going to be better for rev dominant bowlers. Speed dominant, you don't need any ball this week. It usually isn't going to be good for you. It's just going to never hook for you. So rev dominant guys or balanced bowlers, this is what's going to be best. Tournament bowlers, this spot generally isn't used that often. Tournament bowling, you usually start with that stronger ball and then you transition over to pearl bowling balls, where this weaker solid just generally doesn't have a good spot in the bag. Some really good examples on the market right now are going to be the Storm IQ Tour. You're going to have the Ebonite Turbo X and then the Motive Max Thrill Solid. The final category on our 6-ball scale is going to be the weak and sharp category. This is going to be your weakest bowling ball in the bag. This is going to be that lowest of the low end pearl symmetrical bowling ball that's going to just be able to get pretty far down lane and still be able to hook for you. This is going to be, again, best for low oil situations or if you want to play straighter on a house shot that doesn't have much volume. Rev dominant guys, this might be one of your favorite spots in the bag, especially if you're highly rev dominant. These are going to be balls that are going to be tougher to hook, so you're not going to be able to hook the whole lane with these as often as you can with other balls on this list. They're going to be able to retain their energy because the cores and covers are so low end and so weak. So these situations are not going to come up that often, but it is always good to have a ball in this slot just in case you go to a tournament, you go to a league, and there's very little oil on the lanes. That's where this ball is going to excel. Some of the best options on the market right now are the Storm High Road 40, the Hammer Bubblegum Vibe, and then the Motive Max Thrill Pearl. There are 2 types of balls we didn't really talk about in this scale. That is urethane/urethane-like bowling balls and plastic. Plastic generally is just going to be used for your spares. Those are T-zones, those are Storm Ices, those are whatever you want that is a plastic ball that barely hooks. Those are going to be for your spares. Urethane and urethane-like balls are in their special 7th category. We don't cover all that much. If you're a league bowler, you don't need a bowling ball in this category. If you're a tournament guy, it's generally needed to have a purple hammer, a shadow tank, whatever you want in that slot. But some of the best balls on the market, like I said, purple hammer is going to be number 1, pitch black is going to be number 2, and then you go to the harder urethane balls like the shadow tank, the IQ78, or the black hammer. We went through every single category that we have. Why does this matter? What should you pick based on this? Well, it depends what kind of bowler you are. Like we mentioned earlier, if you're a tournament bowler or a high-level bowler, I recommend having at least one ball in almost every single slot here. In at least 5 of the slots, you need at least one ball to be able to combat a lot of different conditions. When you're a tournament bowler, there are times that you're bowling on 45 feet of oil, 35 feet of oil. You're bowling on 40 feet of oil with low volume, 42 feet of oil with a lot of volume. It's everywhere and anywhere in between. So that's where you need to be ready for any situation. If you're a league bowler, I recommend specializing your arsenal based on where you bowl. If you only bowl in one building, I'd recommend specializing there. If your house shot doesn't have much oil, I'd recommend some of the lower end bowling balls in that medium or weak category. If it seems like you can never get a ball to hook on your house shot and it just is a lot of oil, I'd recommend going on the stronger side. Some of those asymmetrical bowling balls are going to be able to help you succeed. Finally, the biggest thing you need to watch out for is overlap. If you just try buying the latest and greatest ball all the time, you're going to have bowling balls that really overlap and you're going to be wasting a couple $100. What I recommend is checking out our social channels. This is not trying to be a shameless plug, but what we do is we have categorization guides for every single bowling ball on the market, all 100 plus bowling balls on charts to show which ones are similar to each other so that you're not buying the same exact ball in a different colorway. That is what we want to avoid most in the bowling world, is wasting money. So what we do is we have every ball categorized in these 6 categories so you know that you're picking balls that are going to act very different from each other. If you want to check that out, we have that over on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our TikTok pages. But that will do it. That is the 6-ball arsenal guide, how you can help pick your next bowling bag, your next bowling ball, so that you're not getting ripped off and you're able to have bowling balls that react best for your play style. If you have any questions about this, please let me know down below in the comments. Again, massive shout out to bowling.com. Make sure to go check them out. Their link will be the first one in our description. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy guides like this, and I will see you on the next one.